So what I'm going to do today is go over the evolution of Ukemi and why it is so important to become a good Ukemi, because any good practitioner I've trained with, they had to become a really good Ukemi before they could become a good Nage. And what I mean by that, if you're not familiar with the Aikido terms, is Ukemi is the person receiving the throw and Nage is the person throwing. So all the emphasis is usually put on the person that's throwing. So I'm working on my technique, but I'm not working on how to receive Aikido or to be an Ukemi. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the evolution of being an Ukemi and how you can get to a high level Ukemi and then thus becoming a good Nage. So there's 3 stages of Ukemi or being Ukemi. One is a basic beginner, then more intermediate, and then what I consider advanced. So I'm going to start out with beginner Ukemi. So when I show up to an Aikido school, I have no awareness of my body, nothing like that. So he's going to do a technique to me and I have no idea what's going on. I don't know how to respond to any of that. So I'm just kind of here as a bystander, and he starts to do something and I'm not aware of it, and then maybe all of a sudden I have pain and how do I deal with that pain? Then I go down or whatnot. But I have no body awareness. I have nothing. I'm just standing here and he is doing the technique to me until it hurts. And then you sort of start there. That's the first place you start. Okay, next you, as Ukemi, you learn patterns. So you know, oh, okay, he's gonna move that way. That's Nikyo. Okay, now I'm gonna go down and, tap out or whatnot because it's gonna hurt. So I learn to respond to whatever he's doing. So not high level stuff, it's just I'm responding to whatever he's doing, and I learn the techniques. I'm more familiar with Shihonagi, Nikyo, whatever, but I'm still not connected to anything. I just kind of have an awareness of the different techniques. Then we get to the blending phase. So then, I sort of learn how to interact with him on this technique, and maybe I'm going to start to tap before I actually get into pain. So I'm kind of beginning to work with him in the technique, and I'm familiar, my body is kind of moving with his. So that's the next phase of Aikido usually, is you learn to kind of work with your partner. Okay, now we're going to get into a little more advanced beginner. So after I learn how to blend, then I start to learn how can I block him out of a technique. So then I learn, do I grab tight and can he move me? And we learn all these things of, so I learn all this stress. Or if he starts to do the technique, can I move in such a way that I can block out the pain? I can move my ligaments to where I'm not going to get hurt. So I learn to block or resist and get stable and resist the Nage doing the technique to me. So that's a little higher level skill. So somewhere along the way, I start to learn how to blend with my partner. Once I have some good stability about myself, I know the techniques and I can work with him with the techniques, then I learn that my center is somehow connected to his center in the techniques. And you'll see this in a little more advanced people when they're training. So when when he's moving me, I'm reacting to his technique with my center control. So I'm not just waiting for him to put the technique on me and then I'm moving from that. I'm starting to get sort of a blending, and you'll see this in a lot with Yokomanuchi. So if he's attacking me, Yokomanuchi, see, I will Yokomanuchi. So if he's attaching, my center is now blending with his arm and his center, so I'm using less upper body strength. So I'm starting that blending of his body and mine. Okay, now what I'm going to talk about is something that's a little harder to get, and a lot of this I didn't get until I got really good at weapons training, and that's why I started training Katori Shinto-ryu, is because those skills that you learn in a weapons art can then directly be applied to Aikido and make your Aikido a lot better. And so one of those things is when you're grabbing a sword and you have to manipulate another weapon, this far away from him or even farther, then you get a sensitivity that's a lot farther away from you than just the sensitivity of somebody grabbing an arm. So now, at a higher level, when you get a lot of weapons training, really it makes you more sensitive to his body. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, and I'm not going to just come up and grab him. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to stick my center to the outside of his wrist. And then the grabbing is just like an antenna that I'm, and so I am connected there. So when he starts to move me into a roll, see now, I am pushing from my center out down into his center, okay? And so when he moves me forward, I'm going to roll because he is pushing me forward with his center, and I am connected to that. And that's what I think is called ki, or that's a physical ki. I am connected through my center to his center through this no slack in the arm. See, there's no slack. Just like if I'm holding a weapon, so stay right there. Okay, go ahead and stop. So this extension that I have and this control I have of my weapon through my whole body organization, the ground, once I get that understanding through training the weapons, then I can put the weapon down, and then I can learn that organization through our bodies, okay? And so that's why I think weapons training is so critical for Aikido training to get to the higher levels. Okay, so then the idea is, as I lead him, I give him a suggestion, I lead him, and I don't even necessarily have to be touching him to feel that connection and to connect with his body, because really Aikido, Ai-Ki, the blending of ki, or intention and connection with that other person, is really the point of it. And I don't think the real point of it is to necessarily use Aikido techniques to fight with, but it's to learn that blending and that skill of blending and timing that you can learn through the Aikido techniques and get to the higher levels, to where you are connected with your partner, even if you're not necessarily touching them. You can move them and blend with them as you're moving them. So those are the evolution of Aikido techniques and evolution of the Uke. And to get those skills down as an Uke, then you can be a lot better Nage. Once you get the sensitivity and the connection and all that, then you can be a lot better Nage. And I think that's why all really good Aikidos became a good Uke first, before they became a good Nage. So one last comment. This series of learning, of the Uke learning that I went through, doesn't necessarily have to go in that order, because some people become very sensitive before they become solid and can resist. Some people become solid resistors before they become sensitive. But that's general evolution of an Aikido Uke, and hopefully this will help you get unstuck from, maybe you're stuck in a certain phase, then you can see the next phase to work for.